Hi. In this edition of My QuickBooks is Stupid, I'm going to point out something that's ridiculously dumb in QuickBooks. It just doesn't work correctly or it's just badly designed. And then counter equally ridiculously easy way to fix it. So the particular page I'm in is in the expenses page. And one of the things that drives me crazy about QuickBooks is that there's no report that shows me my transactions based on whether or not they have an attachment. Like, unfortunately, I cannot run a report that can let me know which expenses are missing a receipt or which bills are missing, the actual PDF document. So the closest thing to that we have is going into the expenses page, into expense transactions, and then in here, clicking on this little gear menu, and then scrolling down and clicking on attachments. Now, unfortunately, it's only for expense transactions, but it is the bulk of the transactions that we generally want to attach receipts or documents to. So that's a good starting point. Another starting point that you could do is, I'm going to focus on, let's say, last month or something like that. So we'll do last month. And then I just kind of want to focus on my transactions for last month. So as I can see, all these transactions are here. Only one transaction has an attachment. So far so good. If I actually click on that attachment, I can click on that and I can view the receipt. That's actually not bad, okay? The problem is that if I want to add an attachment to any of these things, I have to literally click on the transaction, which takes me into a new screen. I have to scroll down, I have to click on Add Attachment, and I have to select my attachment or click and drag, select Open, and then click on Save and Close. It's way too many steps, guys, way too many steps, and it just drives me crazy that there isn't a simple click and drag. Now, this is the way I fix things in QuickBooks generally. And right now, lately, I'm using Claude. So I'm going to open my Claude extension. This is installed in my Google Chrome browser and it's connected to my Claude account. And I have a paid Claude account. You have to have a paid Claude account. And I'm literally just going to tell it to kind of study the page. And from there, write a script for me. So next time when I come back into this screen, I can just use that new functionality to just make it work. So I'm going to click on this drop-down menu here that says Act Without Asking, basically telling it that it can control my browser so it can analyze. So I'm going to tell it, I'm going to give it the instructions and I'm going to let it think and then it's going to write a script for me. Okay, on this page, if I want to add an attachment, I literally have to click on the transaction I want to add an attachment to, click on View and Edit. On the next page, I have to click and drag the PDF from my computer and then click on Save or Save and Close, something that completely finishes the transaction and then goes back to this page. Hopefully after I do that, it will actually show the attachment indicator. My problem is that takes too long. So what I want is I want you to write a console script. I'm actually going to use a Chrome extension that I have that automatically loads the script when the page comes in. But I need you to give me one simple script that allows me to click and drag documents inside this page and it automatically does those actions, opens the transaction, adds the attachment, saves it, and goes back into the screen. Okay, so I gave it this long set of instructions. I didn't use any technical jargon. I just did that. I'm going to hit send, and then I'm just going to let it work. I'm not going to do anything else. I promise I'm not going to interact with it. I'm just going to have it come up with a script. Okay, so this part, it went and examined and looked at the page, studied the page, and then it wrote this script for me. It's writing the script here as we speak. Okay, so when it's done running the script, I'm going to show you how to load the script into the browser itself, and so you can test it. And then I'm going to show you a little Chrome extension that I use that loads the script automatically. So then once I get it working, I don't have to think about it again. Next time I come into the screen, I log out, log back in. It just works perfectly. So we'll wait for this script to finish up here. Okay, it's done. And then essentially what I do is I'm going to copy this script. Then I'm going to right click anywhere on the screen, click on Inspect. And then I'm going to go into console, and I usually clear this out here so I can have an empty page. Paste the script, press enter, and now the script is now enabled. Okay, so now in theory I should be able to click and drag something anywhere here, let that go, and then the script will do its thing. Let's see if this works. And by the way, I don't have to have my CLUD open anymore. I'm not going to close it for now, just in case I have to troubleshoot. So at that point, I can just close my CLUD because this is not using artificial intelligence anymore. This is using a hard script that it wrote. So I'm going to click and drag this to this $979 transaction. I'm going to let that go. And then it's doing its own thing. So it's figuring out how to add the attachment, how to save and close, and I get out of it. And look, it did it. Did it for me. Beautiful. I just want to cry. It's just amazing. I just love this. I love this. Okay. And there you go. So I got my script up and running. It's just a beautiful thing. So the way I work with this application called User JavaScript and CSS. I'll show you real quick what this looks like. So this is what it looks like. And then basically in here, you're going to click on New Rule. And then you're going to paste the script. Okay. And then you tell it which site you want the script to work in. So usually what I do is I copy and paste the URL in the top in here. Paste the URL up there. You can add a little star here at the end, just in case it ends different at the end. Or you can just literally copy and paste the URL in there. Click on save. Now that saves that. So basically, next time I come into this page, and this is where you can turn off and on the different scripts, right? So you can turn off a bunch of scripts and just gonna leave on the one I'm working on now. So that way, if I log out, I'll close my artificial intelligence. I'll refresh the screen. Again, maybe I'll go into a different company file. It doesn't matter. The script is loaded automatically, sort of loaded behind the scenes. So I don't have to go back and paste that code anymore in there once it's working 100%. So I just come here, click and drag anywhere. Again, hands up in the sky. It knew what to do. It went in there, added the attachment, click save and close, closes out, goes back into the screen. It's just amazing. Okay. So if you work for Intuit, watch this video, realize that this is a super simple solution, fix it. Okay. Allow me to drag and drop my attachments in this screen. If you work for QuickBooks also, give me a report. I need to run reports where I can see which transactions are missing receipts or not. This is actually a good solution. It's a great workaround, but come on, how many people that are watching this video, how many people will watch this video? Maybe 500 or 1,000 max. And then the ones that actually watch it, how many are actually going to go through the process and repeat and this exact same thing that I'm doing? So Intuit, if you're watching, just fix it. I gave you a super easy solution. If you email me, I'll even send you the script if you want to see the script to see what that looks like. Anyway, you may be asking yourself, Hector, why in the world are you doing this? This seems like a waste of time. Yes, kind of, sort of. But I'm actually a software developer myself. Now, I don't know any code. I don't know how to do code. But I co-developed an app called WriteTool. I'll put this link in the description. So in my WriteTool page, you click on WriteTool app free. And then you click on that, and then there's a little button here that says add to Chrome. Right now it says remove from Chrome, but it's add to Chrome. And eventually what WriteTool does is an application, it's an add-on that we add to QuickBooks Online. And then once you're running, you're going to see this right navigation bar that gives you a whole bunch of navigation things. However, inside of the settings, we have literally hundreds, or more than 100, things that you can turn off and on. And each of these things that you turn off and on is essentially a script that looks and feels a lot like what I just did. So in this video, this feature, as of right now, immediately, this feature hasn't been added to WriteTool. Okay, I was developing it while recording the video. Then I'm gonna send this code to my programmers on WriteTool, and then we're gonna add this feature. So at some point in the near future, you're going to be able to click and drag your attachments into QuickBooks, not because Intuit fixed it, it's because WriteTool added that feature. Now, at some point, Intuit will, because they do watch my videos, they'll probably will be inspired by this and add some of the features. And we eventually, that's what we want, right? Like a right tool, we want to inspire Intuit to make their software better. But for the meanwhile, we are that Band-Aid. With right tool, we give you all sorts of solutions to little small quirky things, navigation things, power user things that are in QuickBooks. So I'm going to put the link to a different video I have where I talk about this a different issue altogether, and a link to Right Tool so you can also download that. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.